Welcome to a new deep dive. Every year gives us, incredible football stories, but 2025, wow, it delivered some truly memorable chapters.
Absolutely, just full of the unexpected, the deeply resonant stuff.
Yeah, we saw moments that just reminded us why the sport grips us these unlikely heroes, long-awaited triumphs, just sheer drama.
Exactly, the kind of moments you talk about for ages.
And in this deep dive, we're going to sift through some of those surprising facts, the key insights from the year. We'll zoom in on what made 2025 stand out.
Yeah, think of us as your guides, getting straight to the heart of these stories.
So let's unpack 2025 in football. Kicking things off then, this year really highlighted the magic of underdogs, didn't it? And breaking those long droughts.
Oh, it certainly did. We saw clubs making proper history, go-ahead Eagles in the Netherlands, winning their first ever Dutch Cup. That felt, really special.
Incredible. And how about Bologna? Finally lifting the Scudetto in Italy after, decades?
Yeah, decades. That's the kind of story that's bigger than football, really. It's cultural history right there.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then over in England, Crystal Palace grabbing a major trophy.
And beating Man City to do it, that's huge.
Just remarkable. And Newcastle United finally ending their own massive wait for silverware.
Yeah, another big one. Even north of the border in Scotland, the former club of Alex Ferguson, apparently listed as Salzburg, but almost certainly Aberdeen.
Right, that must be Aberdeen.
Yeah, ending their long wait for the Scottish Cup. A nice little detail there.
And it wasn't just clubs getting in on the act.
No, individual stories too. Harry Kane, finally, his first major trophy.
Huge for him.
And importantly, doing it while staying at Spurs. That felt significant.
And Son, his teammate, also at Spurs, ending their club's long wait for a trophy by winning the Europa League.
Beating Manchester United in the final as well.
So yeah, these were powerful reminders of, perseverance breaking those cycles.
Definitely. And against this backdrop, this whole trend of underdogs finally getting their day, you might have thought the UEFA Conference League final would follow suit.
But that final presented a rather different kind of narrative, didn't it?
It did. It was Real Betis against Chelsea, a club with, let's face it, vast resources and a massive history of European success.
Yeah, not exactly your typical underdog setup for Chelsea.
No, and the feeling was very much that this wasn't an underdog journey for them at all. They'd ended up in the Conference League, finished 6th, only got the spot because Man United won the FA Cup.
Right.
And internally, it seems it was framed much more as a matter of recovering prestige, dignity.
So not their main goal, that's still Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup.
Of course not.
But having landed there, it became a sort of must-win.
Pretty much, yeah. The feeling reported was that not winning it would have been genuinely embarrassing.
Okay.
Given the money spent, the squad value, they were seen as clear favorites right from the start. Some felt they didn't even face a truly decent team until Betis in the final.
Right. And Betis, managed by Manuel Pellegrini, were seen as a proper decent side, weren't they? Fought well against the big Spanish clubs.
Right. Exactly. A respectable team who'd earned their place in the final.
So that sets up the dynamic. The powerhouse, feeling the pressure, needing to win for pride, against a good side hoping to cap off their European run.
Precisely.
So the final itself, it didn't exactly go to plan for Chelsea in that first half, did it?
No, not at all. Betis made things incredibly difficult right from the whistle.
How so?
They pressed really effectively. Chelsea looked quite passive, actually. Struggled to keep the ball, couldn't find any rhythm.
They just got the lead they deserved.
They did. The goal came from Isco, who was apparently just magic, even at 33.
Yeah.
Brilliant vision, great touch in tight spaces, slid the pass left.
And Abde finished it off.
Yeah, cool finish. Isco really showed his class in that first half.
Meanwhile, on the Chelsea side, Enzo Maresca's team selection came in for some criticism.
Oh, yeah. Described as maybe a complete failure, possibly overthinking things for a final.
And didn't they have a tough game just days before?
Yeah, just 3 days earlier, a big match for Champions League qualification. That surely played a part in their sort of sluggish start.
And some surprising choices for a final lineup.
Definitely. Starting Badiashile and Chalobah in defense, playing Gusto in that inverted role he doesn't seem comfortable with.
He prefers to fly down the wing. Perhaps.
Exactly. And crucially, Captain Reece James was on the bench to start.
Wow, okay. And that inverted role for Gusto. That caused problems.
It seemed to. Apparently, his intercepted pass when he tucked inside was part of the build-up to the Betis goal.
Not ideal.
Not at all. It just wasn't his natural game. And Betis exploited it. They even had chances to, increase their lead.
Really?
Yeah, a long-range shot saved by Bergstrom, who apparently had a decent game. Saves and distribution noted as important, and Isco nearly won a penalty too.
So Chelsea were really on the back foot.
Completely. Described as passive, slow. Betis packed the midfield, stopped Palmer and Enzo getting involved. Passing choices weren't great either, made it easy for Betis.
Okay, so Betis, dominant first half, deservedly lead. What on earth happened at halftime?
Well, whatever it was, it worked. The second half was a completely different story.
How so?
Reece James came on immediately, and Maresca must have given one heck of a team talk.
There was even that story about James telling Maresca, "Don't worry, we will win."
Yeah, that kind of confidence, that leadership, it must have spread through the team. Apparently, James led a huddle himself at halftime, told them to calm down, play their football.
Wow. And on the flip side, Betis.
Their energy just seemed to drop off significantly. Maybe that intense first half pressing took its toll. Players like Antony struggled to make an impact.
Cucurella got praise for handling him well.
Big praise, apparently in extraordinary form. It was pointed out that the space Antony gets in La Liga just isn't there against Premier League defenders.
That makes sense.
And Betis had injury problems too. Key players like Abde and Ricardo Rodriguez had to go off. That affects your quality, your depth, especially compared to the players Chelsea could bring on.
Right. And this is where Chelsea grabbed the game. Individuals stepping up.
Absolutely. Cole Palmer, in particular, seemed to just decide, right, this isn't happening.
He produced some magic, didn't he?
2 glorious assists, they were called. Basically dragged Chelsea back into the game.
Okay, walk us through them. The equalizer first.
Palmer's first assist finds Enzo Fernandez making a fantastic run into the box. Great header, goal, 1-1.
And that passion afterwards, James and Enzo bumping heads.
Yeah. That was highlighted as a proper Chelsea moment. Gave people goosebumps, apparently. Showed the shift in mentality.
And the second goal, also Palmer.
Yep. This time from the right side, where he's supposedly most dangerous. Beats his man, puts in a ball that Nicholas Jackson just couldn't miss.
Did he head it?
He went for the header, but it actually deflected in off a defender. Doesn't matter how they go in, though. 2-1 Chelsea. Pure magic produced by Palmer again.
And other players made an impact, too. Subs, returning players.
Yeah, Colwell came on and contributed. Chalobah was praised for his really important role across the season, especially after, facing some disrespect from the ownership, apparently.
Good for him.
And James, just called a world-class talent. His impact was immediate.
There was nearly a third goal earlier, though. Jackson chance?
Yeah. Betis overcommitted on a set piece. Chelsea broke. Sancho released Jackson one-on-one, but his touch was described as disastrous, ruined the chance, and then he got injured right after.
Ouch. Missed chance to kill the game.
Definitely. But the third did come later, or rather the 4th overall for Chelsea.
What happened there?
James won the ball back near halfway, passed to Gijad Spence, I think it was,
Right.
who drove forward past to Sancho. It wasn't the cleanest pass. Defending was a bit questionable maybe, but Sancho just decided to have a go. Yeah. Fantastic goal, great strike, big celebrations then.
And the final goal, the cherry on top.
That sealed it. James defended an Isco ball into the box. Chelsea won it back. Cucurella cleared it well. Caicedo picked it up, drove forward.
And unleashed one.
Unleashed a fantastic shot from distance. Flew in, 4-1.
Fitting for Caicedo, maybe? He was seen as their player of the season?
He was, yeah. Widely highlighted. And scoring the final goal of their season, the final goal in the Conference League final. It felt right. His stats in that second half were apparently immense. Most final third entries, duels, tackles, shots, interceptions, just everywhere.
Incredible turnaround. And Palmer's overall season stats just underlined his impact. Right?
Totally. Most goals, goal involvements, big chances created, key passes, through balls, passes into the box, second most assists, dribbles, highest player rating. Even after maybe a dip in form, he turned up big time in the final.
And Enzo got a cool stat too.
Scoring and assisting in a European final, apparently that's become a bit of a Chelsea thing. Happened in their last 3 European finals, Hazard and Giroud before him.
Huh, interesting. So Chelsea get the job done. They lift the Conference League trophy after that shaky start. But what does it actually mean for a club like Chelsea?
Well, it's seen as really important for that young squad. Gives them that first taste of silverware, helps them understand what winning feels like, what it takes.
Good experience then.
Yeah, and important for the manager, for the ownership too, especially after the downfall that led them to this competition in the first place.
And they made history, didn't they? First club to win all the UEFA competitions.
That's right. Winners' Cup, Super Cup, Europa League twice, Champions League twice, and now the Conference League. Completing the set.
winning it, even after sort of falling into it, is described almost like a Chelsea habit or style.
Yep.
Like, not winning would have been the real shot.
Exactly. It would have been embarrassing, was the word used.
But there's a but, isn't there?
There's a big but. The strong feeling presented is that for a club with Chelsea's history, resources, ambition, especially compared to their peak years, this isn't the level they should be satisfied with.
So enjoy the win, but don't get carried away.
Pretty much. The message is clear. Don't over-celebrate this. The real goal, the Chelsea goal, is competing for the Champions League, the Premier League. Those are the big ones.
So if this is seen as just an initial step back towards that level, okay.
Then it serves a purpose. But the club, the players, manager, ownership, they absolutely cannot think this is enough, or that just aiming for top 4 is the standard. It's just not Chelsea.
And questions about Maresca. Can he lead them to those big trophies?
Yeah, that's called a big question mark. Look, he met the objectives for this season, top 4, plus a trophy. So he deserves next season based on that.
Even if his style is debated.
Even so, results talk. But the question remains if he's the man for the absolute top prizes.
And the squad needs experience.
Crucial. Highlighted as essential if they want to compete with the big boys in the Champions League next season. You saw the youth in that final lineup. Cucurella was the oldest starter at 26.
Wow, really?
Yeah, apparently the first European final since the late 70s where a team didn't start anyone over 27. Very young group.
And there was even a point about fairness, about whether clubs like Chelsea should even be in the Conference League.
Yeah, a sort of ethical question. Does it disadvantage clubs like Betis, who've never won a European trophy, the kind of clubs the competition was perhaps intended for? Having these financial heavyweights drop in, it's a debate.
So quite a complex picture for Chelsea, even in victory.
Definitely.
So wrapping up, 2025 gave us those amazing underdog stories, dreams realized for many. But for Chelsea, the Conference League win was framed very differently. More about crucial prestige, salvaged dignity almost.
Yeah, hard fought in the end, thanks to that second half turnaround and key players stepping up massively.
And it did add that unique piece to their historical cabinet, the first club to conquer every UEFA competition.
A remarkable achievement in itself.
But the underlying message is pretty clear. Celebrate the win, enjoy the feeling of silverware, especially for the young players. But don't mistake this for the ultimate goal.
Exactly. It leaves us, and maybe you listening, with that big question. Is this victory a satisfying end to a challenging season for Chelsea? Or is it just a necessary, maybe slightly awkward stepping stone on a much longer journey back to where they feel they belong?
Can this young squad, led by this manager, truly get back to consistently fighting for the biggest prizes in Europe?
Question to ponder.
Indeed. A great place to leave it for this deep dive.